Hello friends, this is Christian Wiese. Today I wanted to talk to you about inner conflicts and that if you have them, we all have them, you shouldn't be discouraged, frustrated, but instead almost excited because it will tell you something about yourself, and if you use the opportunity, you have yet another chance to get yourself out of the way. All right, let me start with something that has happened to me just very recently. So I've been trying to lose weight for a few years. Always at the beginning of the year, the New Year's resolution, let me lose 20 pounds. It's easy. I've done it before. And then it's always the same story. I lose 10 pounds just because it's getting summer and you're outdoors, you play golf or work in the garden and just have a lot more energy. But otherwise you don't really change anything. And then comes Thanksgiving and Christmas. You gain right back, so net nothing ever changes. But still, every New Year, the New Year's resolution is lose 20 pounds. So I'd been to the doctor recently for a checkup, and she complained that my blood pressure was too high. So when I Googled the issue on the internet, it said, well, try losing 10% of your body weight. That may help. So that indeed was what I tried to do. And guess what? This time around, the pounds are indeed dropping more than in the past. And try to find out what exactly has changed. Well, you will say motivation has changed. Before I didn't have the motivation to lose the weight, and now I do. But there is a level above that which is about beliefs. So I had an interesting experience last fall when in an offsite with a spiritual group, I said, I have to lose some weight. And somebody said to me, you carry your weight well. It was sweater season. I already had my big sweater on, and it's always nice to get compliments. But the thing really was, afterwards when I reflected on it, I didn't blink, because that's really what I believed. Looking at myself or feeling myself, I felt, everything is fine. I carry my weight well, and there's the inner conflict. On the one hand, you know that something has to change, but on the other hand, you think, well, why should I change? That nice croissant that is sitting in front of me wants to be eaten. We have to enjoy life, right? Whereas now, with my desire to impress the doctor about my reduced blood pressure, when the croissant looks at me, I say, well, it's nice to eat a croissant, but it just doesn't make any sense, so I don't. And there's a changed behavior. So I would now elaborate that story and just say that whenever you have an inner conflict, it's exactly that. Two belief systems are clashing. In oneness, there is no conflict. In oneness, creation happens, creation gets sustained, and creation also gets destroyed. Everything kind of in oneness makes sense. There is no conflict. And the spiritual opportunity is to be connected with that oneness. And in that experience, in that state of being, there is no inner conflict. because there is no you. Now, that may all sound a little theoretical, but that is the opportunity to be connected to that creative force. J. Krishnamurti talked about choiceless awareness. It's exactly the same thing. When you're connected to that creative force that either creates something, sustains something, or destroys something, the you will not take any issue with it. But if you live like the modern people do, which is I'm a separate individual, there's somebody who's nice to me, which is good, and there's somebody who wants to take something away from me, which is not good, well, then you have an inner conflict. So try in every case when you feel there's an inner conflict, try to identify what the underlying belief system is. There's always an opportunity to let go of something when an inner conflict hits, because the whole idea of the conflict is to show us that is really the purpose of the world. The purpose of the world on the one hand is to enjoy being, but on the other hand, the purpose of this world is to show us there is the possibility to live at a higher level. So there will always be some friction that the you complains about. Also wanted to talk about time, which is a very confusing subject. So the way I would put it in the weight example, the moment when the problem is faced, the system already adjusts. I suddenly look at things differently. When I see the croissant, I say, well, it's nice to have, but not right now. The vision, in a sense, has changed. The attitude has changed. And in the same way with every inner conflict, the adjustment is immediate. It might be that the solution is in time. I want to give an example which I've mentioned in my talks before. One friction, I wear the sweater, Cal Dead. I'm a proud parent of a Berkeley student, and the struggle that our family had was that my wife always has been very, very active in getting the children to sign up for the best schools, the best internship available, and so forth. And I have always said with my spiritual attitude, well, why don't you trust a little bit the process? Why don't you take it a little easier on the boys? They work too hard. But to be quite honest, whenever my wife got results and they got into good schools and they got good internship, I also didn't complain. I actually also was quite happy, because as a parent you can't help rooting for your child's success. So it felt like some sort of an inner conflict. And when I thought about it, I kind of realized the underlying belief system was just, well, I went to a very good university. I was very lucky to get to the places that I've been to. But at the end of the day, I always credit my education and my hard work. So in a sense, there was definitely an element of the old me that was rooting for my wife, while the spiritual new me says, well, just trust the process, don't always be so goal-oriented. So that was the inner conflict. And it turns out, did I solve it immediately? No, I did not. But kind of time was working, because as the boys grew up and as they become their own authority, it's less about an issue between me and my wife. It's now more, she may make a suggestion and the boys may agree or not. Often they actually really applaud her ability to point them in the right direction. So it's definitely an element of time where over time one had the feeling, well, time is on your side. But please don't get fooled by it, because just as with the weight example, the moment when you realize those are the two competing belief systems and one of them just doesn't make any sense, or both of them have to be adjusted, the problem is solved. Again, the people we interact with may need a year or two to catch up with us, but the problem is already resolved. So I really think this is a very important message. If you have inner conflicts, and we all have them, if you have inner conflicts, just use the opportunity to go inside, spot the inner belief system, spot your ability to step out of it. And guess what? A little part of yourself has disappeared, and you're now open to life's energies. All right, I hope you found this presentation helpful. All the best. Bye.